What's up, everybody? I'm James. Welcome to Mechanical Mayhem, and welcome back to a Mega Project update. I did have a video prior to this one, but I made such progress I figured I'll just leave that out and we'll just start here in terms of Mega Project updates. And here we are. Instead of it just being two random legs, we now have the bottom half put together. Not glued yet. Once I get it standing how I want, I'll use glue to reinforce the joints because they are just friction fit. But we have the bottom half and we have both arms. So yeah, pretty fun stuff. This is a 28mm or 1/60th scale Clan OmniMech. The Mega Project is called such because it's going to be a star of OmniMechs. Now the classic Timberwolf I did prior to all this isn't going to be a part of that star. It's its own separate cool looking thing just to hang out. This is going to be a full-on star of Clan OmniMechs. Each one's going to be a different OmniMech, and this is the first one of the bunch. If you're looking at it going, hey, that looks like X, Y, or Z mech, share your thoughts in the comments. That's why I haven't said the mech chassis just yet. I have more that I've been working on. In fact, I got to this stage of progress streaming it on the channel on what I call a C3 stream. Now, the very first stream was a test. The second one was called C3. And from here on, whenever I do a hobbying kind of just style of stream, I'm going to call a C3, which stands for Chill Chat Create. Not the same C3, but of course inspired by the C3 from Battletech lore. So if you want to be alerted of when I go live, not just for the C3 streams, but other streams, definitely alpha strike that subscribe button. It also helps combat the algorithm, which is fantastic, so I hope you'll consider it. Now on that C3 stream I did last, I did showcase some of the torso. So I'm not showing that just yet because I want to have more chances for people to guess, and I can do an eventual update showing that, and then one more chance to guess before revealing it on the update after. So if you think you know what mech this is, share your thoughts in the comment section, as well as any other thoughts you might have. With that said, we have both arms. We have the gun arm for the right arm, and the left arm is a manipulator arm. This I am showcasing its design and everything as kind of a hint to help you with guessing should you desire to guess, and it sits somewhat like this. So it's going to be a decently sized mech, even though it is less tonnage than the Timberwolf. For perspective, this is a classic Battlemaster for scale. It comes up just about to the knee joint, a little bit less than that. And this 28mm classic Elemental, I think, is a pretty good scale. I thought it would be. I still think it is. I'm going to paint it up alongside this thing once I get to painting. And if I don't use it, it can hang out and look cool on its own. But thus far, I'm going to include this as part of the Mega Project. So, with that said, what you're looking at is not paint. This is mud, as I call it, which is Bondo spot putty and pure acetone mixed together in a kind of slurry paint-like consistency. It is thin, like paint, like it's actually really thin. You can airbrush this stuff if you wanted to. I don't want to. You want to be really careful with ventilation and wearing a mask when you do that because you aerosolize this stuff, which is not good to breathe in. And B, I don't want to potentially gunk up the only airbrush I have. So I use just a paintbrush, and it worked out really well. I did that on the two streams, the test stream and the C3 stream. So that was a lot of fun. And we're at a pretty good state. The reason why you're thinking, or you might be thinking, it looks kind of like not all one consistent color, is because once you apply that mud and you let it fully dry, it leaves like a very fine grit feel. So you knock that off with a very gentle sanding with a very fine grit sanding film or sanding stick. Just very gently sand that down, and it makes it feel really smooth. And then once you get the smooth feel to how you like it on the component, wherever it might be, you're good. You can move on to priming. And once you prime and paint, everything's going to look, uniform color and be really nice. But that's not the next step for me after doing all this. We have some panel lines and the like on this mech that I want to further make sure are fleshed out. So I'm going to use a scraper, like what you might see people with gunplas use, and very gently go into these little areas to just redefine that panel line a bit. While this is very thin mud, and it does a great job at not gunking up detail, it is going to change panel lines a little bit. It'll still be there, you'll still see it, but if you're going to use panel liner or stuff that's going to get into those recesses, you want it to be a bit sharper, so scraping it's going to be the way to go. So that's what I'm going to do once the mud is all done. I don't purely do this stuff on stream, but I am going to be doing C3 streams typically on the weekends at some point, so keep an eye out for that. Share your guess on what mech you think this is. When you next see this, you'll probably see it with the torso built and hopefully the seam filled in and everything else. And that'll be the last chance to guess, because the reveal for what it'll be, mech-wise, will happen in the project update after that one. But I have a question for you. I've been calling this the Mega Project, because it is. It's a star of 1/60th scale or 28mm mechs, which is kind of silly. But it's a star of Smoke Jaguar mechs. I'm doing it as Alpha Galaxy because it's my understanding that's the galaxy formation they're going with as they rebuild to start off with for the Ild Clan era. If I am mistaken, definitely let me know. But regardless, my point is, it's a star. And stars tend to get designations, just like lances do. So instead of calling it a mega project, what type of designation do you think would be cool for this star? If you have any ideas, share it, brainstorm, let me know. I'm going to do the same, and we can reconvene and discuss that some more. But with that said, this is pretty decent progress on this 28mm mech. I'm definitely putting a lot more emphasis on trying to make it as high quality as my mediocre capabilities allow. So hopefully it'll look pretty sharp when done. Anyways, that's all I got for you in this one. Remember, I do stream the C3 stream alongside doing other streams throughout the week. So keep an eye out for that if you want to be part of it and hang out and chit-chat. Definitely cool. Hope to see you there. And until next time, thanks so much for stopping by. Take care.